Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. This is my first Fourth Ward Community meeting, so I thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The presentation that I have tonight, we're going to go a little bit out of order just because one of the presenters has to leave to pick up their child a little earlier, even though I had him slated at the end of the event, so I'm just asking you to bear with us, okay? So again, my name is Amina Toller. I'm your Fourth Ward counselor. Hit the slide. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to, one, inform the residents of our council meetings. I think it's extremely important if you can take out your phones, go to your calendars, or take a picture. Add these meetings to your phone the same way you add meetings for your veterinary appointments, your eyelash appointments, your pedicures, your haircuts. These meetings, I encourage residents to make sure that they try to attend and be part of the community, be part of the discussion that's going on at Town Hall. I ran on a platform where I stated residents were our customers, and I'm absolutely standing by that. We work for you. Again, I'll just give you a minute to take the time to take a picture and make sure you have our meeting dates present. Yes, Lynn? Yes, that one is already publicized and on the website. For questions, we're going to take it at the end if you can just bear with us, okay? I'm sure everyone has a few questions or a lot of questions they want to ask, and we'll try to get to all of them. So thank you for that. Go ahead, Tony. This is our township website. If you don't know it, again, I'm asking everyone to please take a picture of this, know where our website is. You can find all kinds of information on the website. We also are asking people to sign up for Register Swift 911 if we have emergencies. It's a free service. There is no charge for that. So you can stay in the know if there's an emergency or an outage or what have you in our town. Please make sure you take the time, go on our website, and register for Swift 911. Thank you. This council that you have before you today, we are advocates, strong advocates for our township committees. We wanted to let you people know that these are the committees that we have available and the number of vacancies that are there. Some of these committees will be intermingled with other committees over the next few months, but if you think you might be interested in joining one of these volunteer committees, we encourage you to visit the website, and there it is at the bottom. You fill out the application and submit it. We will be reviewing all applications because we would like to fill all of these vacancies. We have the Arts Advisory Committee, Landlord Tenant Advisory, the Montclair Community Intervention Alliance Committee, Parks and Recreation, People with Disabilities, and the Senior Citizens Advisory Committee. Right, I'm gonna get to that one, thanks, Doc. So again, I strongly encourage everyone, if you think you wanna be part of the discussion, have a seat at the table, fill out an application, submit it. The applications go to the clerk. They are then handed to us, the council. We review them, and then we start calling people to start working on these committees. We can't do it by ourselves. We absolutely need residents to be involved and be a part of our discussions. Next slide, Tony. Thank you. These are our commissions. These are mayoral appointments, 2 of them. But again, you can put in an application. We have Board of Zoning. We have the Civil Rights Commission. We have Environmental Commission, the Housing Commission, Rent Control, Montclair Early Childhood Board Trustees position, and as you see, we have Planning Board, but there are no open vacancies. So again, if this is something that piques your interest, we're asking you to please put in your application, and once again, be a part of discussion with us, for our community. Next slide. I wanted to give you guys an update on the projects in the 4th Ward. And when I say projects, I'm talking about developments, buildings going up, things of these natures. We can just take a minute and look at the addresses and see where these are. 399 Orange Road, we're going to be voting on that on July 30th, where we're going to do the Pocket Park. That's open green space. There will be no housing there. 400 Orange Road is across the street. Currently, the Z stands for Zoning Board. It's an application in with the Zoning Board Commission right now. And they're trying to build 8 single-family homes there. So 53 New Street, they're asking for a township easement. The property at 51 New Street is owned by a private resident. They're asking the town for an easement for drainage and some other stuff, so we will be trying to grant that on June 30th. 5 Wheeler Street, that's on the corner of Wheeler and Woodland. That project is, again, in front of the zoning board. It's supposed to be 4 apartments or 4 residents? 4? Okay, so one building with 4 units in it. Originally, the owner said it was going to be for senior housing, and we're hoping that that's what they keep it at. They had to go back and redraft their plan, because if it was for seniors, we need an elevator, we need some other things in that building, and make sure that it's not just going to be another new luxury apartment. 30 Wheeler Street, we learned that there's an application in front of the zoning board for a new development there. Again, these are just addresses that I'm keeping the 4th Ward residents aware of projects that will be coming down the pike. If you feel like you need to have a say or have any questions about these projects, visit our township website, look at the zoning board, dates of meetings, and you're more than welcome to speak during public comment at any of those zoning board meetings. 61 Mission, 86 Mission Street. Again, those applications are in at the zoning board. If you have any questions, feel free to attend one of those meetings. Make sure you visit the website, follow along to see when these addresses are coming up for discussion, if there's anything you need to learn or know or ask. 10 Infield, same thing, in front of the zoning board at this moment. 16 Pleasant Avenue is a project that's in front of the Historic Preservation Committee. That project, I believe the developer is trying to demolish the home or see if it's going to get historic preservation status. If you live in that area, if you want the building or the home to stay, you should attend the Historic Preservation Committee meetings. 210 Bloomfield Avenue is the American Legion Crawford Cruise Post. That's not going to cost the taxpayers any money. That project that's going to open is going to be opened with community development grant funds. It's going to be a building for seniors, veterans, and it will still continue to serve the community. They were supposed to be here tonight to present to us, but they couldn't make it, so hopefully we can have them at our September meeting. But I just wanted to let you guys know that the American Legion building will be done over. It's not costing the taxpayers any money, and it will serve veterans and seniors. Next slide. Next one. Next one. Thank you. So with that, I'm going to bring Mr. Gary Williams up from Public Service. I know that the 4th Ward has had some brownouts over the past few years and the past few weeks. So Gary, if you would join us up front and please share with us.
This is for the recording, this is for, got it, okay. So I kind of need both of these at the same time. Got it, all right, gotcha. Okay, well, good evening, everyone. My name is Gary Williams, and I serve as the Regional Public Affairs Manager for PSE&G. And my primary responsibility is to be the bridge between the company and elected officials, government, business, and the community that PSE&G serves. Additionally, I'm responsible for developing and implementing strategic plans to advocate and gain support for critical company initiatives and priorities, which include the distribution and transmission projects, such as our gas system modernization program, as well as energy efficiency. And with all our projects, what is paramount to us is to minimize community impact. I first want to thank Mayor Baskerville and your 4th Ward Councilwoman for granting me this opportunity to be before you and just kind of give you some information about the company and how PSE&G strives to be good community partners. Okay, next slide, please. All right. So just some of the things I'm going to be going over, just some of our core principles at PSE&G, some important contact information, how to report an outage, street lights, how to report street lights being out, energy efficiency programs, as well as some of our EV programs and payment assistance programs. So again, just a quick overview of me, my email address, my phone number. Please feel free to reach out to me either directly, or if you want to go through your council member or your mayor, either way is fine with me. Next slide, please. Okay, so at PSE&G, we are unwavering in our pursuit to show how a utility company can be an example for excellence for community partnership. We are steadfast and committed to safety. It's paramount, and we will never sacrifice that with any project. Integrity. We do what's right. We hold ourselves to the highest ethical standards, even in the most difficult situations. And customer service. We truly try to keep customer service and our customers at the heart of everything that we do. Next slide, please. and just wanted to share just some important numbers and some information for you all. General questions, if you want to call and report a street light, have questions about your billing, power outages, downed wires, no heat, you name it, that first number is going to be your first stop. Anything related to a gas emergency, that second one, payment assistance, and if you have want to do like a service upgrade, if you want to, for example, if you want to install an EV charger, if you want more power coming to your house or your residence, if you want to get power to your garage, something like that, you call that service upgrade number. Demolition, to remove anything, you need to call that number because we need to come out and remove the meters, electric and gas. You can also text for outages and get updates, and that last one is for first responders only. But also, if all else fails, call 911. That's going to be your best bet if there's an emergency. Okay, so how to report an outage. There are 4 primary ways to report an outage. You can text to that first number. Again, call the number that was in the previous slide. Additionally, you can do it through the mobile app if you have that. And as always, you can go to online. After you report an outage, typically our crews work as quickly and as expeditiously as they can to restore your service. That's our goal. You can track your estimated time of restoration online via the How to Tracking an Outage portal. But I would just caution you all to just please stay away from any type of falling trees, any falling power lines, anything that has a spark. Please call 911 as they may be energized. Also, just in case you do have an outage, just one thing to note, please leave one light on to alert you when power has been properly restored. We'll caution you to unplug all motor-driven appliances such as refrigerators, freezers, and any type of sensitive electric equipment such as TVs, microwaves, computers, you name it, because what happens when you get that energy back, it can recoil and cause a little bit of an electrical overload, which can typically fry a circuit or cause an unwanted issue for when that power comes back on. If you have a water well, I think some apartments, high-rise apartment complexes use water wells. Please do not run that faucet or flush that toilet. Again, remember that electric wells and sub pumps will not operate even though you initially experience some normal water flow. Again, until that water is properly restored, please do not use that because that includes purification as well. Next slide, please. Street lights. So PSE&G has recently released a new street light reporting mechanism where it's very user-friendly, very super simple. Just go to that website right there, click outages and leaks, and click report a street light outage. What will come up is that, not sure if you can see that very clearly, but I'll make sure you guys get the actual link. And it's very user-friendly. There's no need to create an account. It brings up a map of our territory. You just type in the address, pick the light, hit report. You will get a confirmation email, and then typically what happens is 72 hours later, we'll try to get out there to repair that street light. But I do want to get into the process of street lights and street light repair time because, as I said, it varies based on the complexity of the issue. Typically, we try to get it done within 3 days. That's a BPU standard. During severe weather outages and events, restoration time can be a little longer. But also, how does a street light get repaired or get replaced, right? After a report is received, PSE&G, our lamp inspector, will investigate the problem. The majority of streetlights, as I mentioned, are typical malfunctions that are related to a blown bulb, which we call photocells. And the lamp inspector will replace that street light head, but if the repair is a little bit more complicated, it gets reported and referred to our underground electric team, which tries to figure out the problem from the underground wiring. And again, typically that takes a little bit of a longer process. That includes our engineering team to try and problem solve what's going on underground. And those repairs typically take a little longer. Additionally, customers, when you provide your, once the problem has been determined, the engineering technician will create a job order for the underground or overhead construction department team to complete the repair. And as always, you can always reach out to your local elected to get me whatever the poll number is, and I'll try and get you as much information or insight to what's going on with that poll. If you were experiencing a chronic outage or a light's been out for 3 months and you've reported it and you see no action, let me know. I'll try and get you as much information as I can. Next slide, please. So energy efficiency programs. We have three flagship programs to try and get you some money saved on your bill. The first one is Home Performance with Energy Star. You can have energy savings that of about 25% a year. You can also get rebates for up to $5,000 a year, and you actually may be eligible for a $25,000 interest-free repayment on your bill if you find out that we've been overcharging you. Home weatherization program for income qualified customers. If you're eligible, and this one keyword is if, it's income driven, but you could save up to 15% on your energy expenses, and customers who participate do see an average of about $18 on an electric bill and about $220 on a gas bill per year. So again, the goal is to give you guys savings. So I don't know about you, take $20 off my bill every month, that's pretty good for me. So the other thing that we do for free is a quick home energy checkup. The quick energy home checkup is pretty much, we come to your house, we do an energy audit, and we'll give you a list of things to make your house more energy efficient, whether that's, hey, you might need some new windows, or hey, you might want to think about switching out to a smart thermostat. We'll come out, give you an audit for free. Typically takes about an hour, and then what also comes after that is you'll get some goodies, some surge protectors, some night lights, some energy efficiency bulbs, things of that nature for absolutely free. All you gotta do is just go to that website and peruse the variety of programs, see what fits your needs, and connect with a customer service rep, and they'll come out and check everything out for you. Next, please. Okay, so electric vehicles. I'm not sure if anyone either has or is interested in getting an electric vehicle. We do offer a $1,500 per charger rebate. That's called the Make Ready. Essentially, what that is you buy the charger. We come out, we do all the install. $1,500 is about the average for an install. If you have a medium size or a smaller EV, that typically will cover the charge and maybe cover the implementation fee and then some. So you can walk away with some money in your pocket. And as always, again, here's some contact information. Email to that email address. Someone reach back out to you, or you can always just call this number and go to this website if you're interested in any of our electric vehicle programs. I think there's one more. Okay, and payment assistance programs. This is something that we partner through the BPU with. We have our low income home energy assistance program, also called LIHEAP, which helps customers cover anything from heating bills and medical necessary cooling costs. Homeowners and renters can apply for this, but again, it's income eligible. But again, it's a great program, and the goal is to really connect customers who, whether you just had a rough winter, had to keep the heat going, and times are a little tight. We'll connect you with a nonprofit that we partner with that will help you get the resources you need to pay to make these payments, or to actually give you a grant that will take care of the back bill. NJ Shares is an income eligible customers program. That's a grant that, again, that's partnered through the BPU, Utility Smart Assistance, and NJ Energy Assistance. And again, the goal is you can receive up to $3,800 through these three grants if you pull them right, to kind of get you some assistance. And again, just want to say thank you. I hope you found this information helpful and useful, and through the Councilwoman in the Mayor, I can get you those links so you guys can really take advantage of some of these programs. Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Because he has to leave at a certain time, I'm going to allow questions from Mr. Williams now because he has to pick up his daughter at a certain time. So I'll just come over to you with the mic if you have a question. Well, no, you're going to need the mic and you're going to have to yell, right?
Sure. Yeah, please.
Mr. Williams, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate everything you said. I know you talked about safety, integrity, and customer service. Can you please answer a couple questions about the rollout of the smart meter program? Because I knew about it last year, and so I opted out because there's very, very dangerous levels of EMF that come off of those smart meters. There's no question about it. You take your EMF reader, you put it up to your smart meter, causes cancer, autoimmunity, all sorts of problems. So I was lucky enough that I knew and I opted out. My neighbors did not. They're furious. Now they're being told they have to pay a fee to have the smart meter that was installed on their house uninstalled. Then they have to pay the same fee, the opt-out fee that I'm paying, which is, $12 a month. So can you explain why I have to pay more to keep my current meter when it's already a digital meter that the PSE&G employee told me he reads from down the block? And why did you install these? Why did you roll it out without a single notification to residents who are now furious?
Sure. So just to give myself some cover, I've only been in this role for 6 months, but I am versed enough to kind of get some context to that question. That's a great question. But first off, like I said, and that's just not lip service. Safety. Those meters, we conduct EMF tests with everything from the meters to the substation that we build, and they are to the standard that's a regulated standard. But again, if you have concerns, by all means, that's your prerogative, and I respect that. But again, the goal with these meters was to increase reliability, increase responsiveness, and if you're, because what we do is when there's an outage, what that gives us the opportunity now is to ping the meters to try and actually pinpoint with a precision of who's out, why it's out, what circuit are they on, so that we can get our troubleshooters out there to assess and get everyone back online. So it also just makes everything more efficient from a meter reading stance, and also gives us the ability to find out where that outage is in a real-time manner. But again, the $12 is an opt-out fee. That's just per month. That's just a company. That's a company standard.
What does it pay for?
So that's a great question. I do not know off the top of my head, but I can get that to you if that's okay with you through the council.
I'd like to see the EMF data as well, please.
Sure.
Thank you for the question, and I'll make sure to
Yeah. No problem.
our information to you. Mr. Scott?
Yes. Hello, Mr.
How you doing?
I've got a question. For quite a few years, there's been a major infrastructure upgrade on Orange Road from PSE&G. But over the years, there's been, I'm not sure if they're low-level or just ongoing gas leaks. And the reason why I can determine there's ongoing gas leaks, between the curb and the sidewalk, the grasses, the dirt is contaminated. You cannot grow grass in that area. And I've called on several occasions, and I've spent hundreds of dollars myself with new topsoil and things like that. But the actual ground dirt is contaminated. And I'd like to know what your response would be to get that resolved.
Sure. I get it. Thank you. And again, another very thoughtful question. Just want to get some more clarity. Was your main replaced
Yes.
recently?
Yes.
Okay.
From the street to the
Went down the street and then tied into your house,
came down,
right?
Came all the way up the street, they did individual houses.
Yes.
And then they put new lines from the connection in the street.
Yep.
Matter of fact, in my case, they did the entire connection all the way into my house.
Right. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. So again, going back to reliability, through the BPU, the gas system modernization program is a program to upgrade the infrastructure, the underground infrastructure, to a more reliable material that's going to last for centuries. The main that's in there now, it's old, it's outdated. This program is to pull that up and put in the new main that's going to be more reliable. So when they were doing that work, that's what they were doing. They were pulling that old main out, putting the new one in, but they also have to do the tie-ins that run from the street to your respective houses. That's included in that process as well. So if you feel that your grass was contaminated due to some gas leak, I would advise you to file a claim. Again, if you can present, if you have anything to present that shows that we're liable from a gas leak, the claims department is your best bet to try to see if there can be some type of resolve or remedy. So I can get you the claims information over, and so you can get that process going. Yeah.
Noah, come over this way, dear. Noah, you have a question?
Yes.
Come on over this way.
Actually, two questions. We'll go with the first one. If there's not time, I'll just go with the first one because we want to let other people have their turns. So maybe I'll just ask one of them. Anyway. Is there any way we can prevent power outages? Also, I've noticed for like the last year or so, for the last year and a half, whenever there's a power outage, we usually can't get Wi-Fi. I would have thought that I can get it on my phone. However, sometimes in our housing when there's not power outage, we can get Wi-Fi on our phone, but then sometimes the internet goes out in our house on the computer. Is there any way we can prevent the internet staying on in our house and because a phone's a small screen, I want it on both my phone and computer. Also, the next one is, sorry, just one more, then let everyone else have time for the rest of the day, unless anyone after that. Also, speaking of infrastructure, as what the other man brought up before, so tonight was about trees, and the thing is that like these buildings keep getting over land and infrastructure, then it wastes the environment and our trees, and we need to do something about it. So is there anything you can answer about those two, please? Thank you.
Okay. Councilman, there's a tree expert here that can answer that second part. Well, so the first part is there anything that we can do to prevent outages? I really wish I could answer that. But there's something that we can do to limit the impact and limit the actual frequency, which is to have a reliable network. And one of the things that we're constantly looking to do is upgrade our current existing infrastructure. One of the things I'm pretty sure all you guys know that there is a substation off of Bloomfield Avenue that is towards the end of its lifetime. But that's one of the strategic initiatives that we're embarking on that's going to bring more reliability to the grid as folks look to bring EVs online. As the downtown keeps growing, it's going to keep pulling from that grid and from that circuit. So what we want to do is proactively do those upgrades that you all have an efficient power source. I think the other thing about Montclair, which is interesting, as you said, you guys love your trees, but a lot of your utilities are actually in your backyards, which when the branch goes down, you can take out an entire circuit. So as opposed to being able to just corral the street, you have to go to folks' backyards. So if you got an option, you're doing it, if you're not home, we are very hesitant to enter people's homes enter people's backyards without permission. So those are just some of the things and some of the nuances that we try to actively work through. I wish I could address the issue about keeping your internet, but the internet is tied to modem, which is powered by electricity, so it's above me.
I'm just curious, you mentioned that there's rebates and grants for installation of EV chargers?
Yes.
Is that just for residential or do you do
No.
that for the town? Oh,
No. So the answer to that question is no.
no, you can't do it for the town?
No, absolutely. We do residential and commercial EV programs. And one of the things that we do is we partner with the municipalities if they have electric vehicle fleets. We will partner with them to get some charges for those fleets as well. We have a partnership with Inglewood, South Orange, Bloomfield, North. We're talking to them about getting that going in.
appears may be in the fourth quarter.
No, thank you for that question, and I do apologize for the time frame. We try to do is get folks turned on as back as we realistically can. But the crux of the issue is Montclair is one of those towns that has a lot of backyard utilities, so sometimes a tree will take out a transformer, and we've got to get back there again. Not to mention there's a lot of hills and a lot of some mountainous terrain, so our crews have to identify it, get back there, make the necessary repairs, which we can try to get a little bit better in terms of getting that time frame turned down. But if we have a more reliability within our system, that will help mitigate some of those things, because we can maybe backfeed a circuit or cut over another tie-in. But if a pole is taken out, then there's just nothing that we really can do. But we'll try to be as expeditious as we can to try and get those allergies restored.
All right, thank you, Mr. Williams, for your presentation. And I'll make sure that the two residents that had questions, Mr. Williams, I'll connect you with them via email. Just for informational purposes, the next meeting that I'm having is September 17th. I'm going to ask Mr. Williams to bring an additional public service rep with him to answer some of these outage questions that we're having, and maybe talk about some of the infrastructure issues, if you can hopefully join us for that one on September 17th. I see we have a few new people that have joined us. I'm just going to flip back to the beginning of my presentation for those that weren't here in the early part. Tony, if you can, oh, thank you. Get there, Tony. You're the best. So again, I just want to remind residents, these are our upcoming town council meetings. If you haven't had a chance to take a picture and save these dates in your phone, we need residents to come out to these town council meetings. I'm one voice, I'm one vote. If there are any issues or concerns that you have as my constituents, I need you to come and talk to the whole council. I can't do it by myself, okay? So I'm just making sure that everyone's aware of these dates. If there's anything you need to discuss or have a question, these are the town council meeting dates. Next slide. And July 30th is our next meeting. We will be going into executive session at 5:30. We'll be out hopefully by 7:15 to start our regular meeting. Again, register for SWIFT 911 for those that just walked in. I think we had about 10 or 12 people just coming in tonight. If you want to get updates from the town, if we have emergencies or other issues going on, it's a free subscription. You can register on the town website, and the website is there for you to take down. Next slide. Again, our township committees. These are the committees that we have within Town Hall. We're looking for volunteers. If you're interested in joining one of these committees, the application can be found on the township website. As you can see, the number of vacancies versus the committee. So again, if you think you have the skill set, the stamina, the desire, you want to be part of the discussion, we are encouraging residents to please put in your application for the council to review. Next one. Again, we have commissions. We have vacancies in these commissions as well. Same process, put in an application. We will be reviewing them and getting back to people. Next up, we're going to hear from Miss Lisa Johnson. She's going to share with us. Lisa is, what's your official title? I'll let you do your introduction.
Environmental and Code Coordinator.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you, Lisa. Here you are.
Thank you. Can I have the clicker? Well, until this starts, I'm Lisa Johnson. I'm the Environmental and Code Coordinator for the Township out of the Office of Sustainability. And I'm here to talk about the Tree Grant, but I'm also going to talk about a program that was just spoken about. So I wanted to start with that, actually, and we'll get to the trees. Okay. All right, so we are sponsoring or supporting PSE&G's Home Energy Efficiency Program. And it's an amazing program. I've done it. I bought a home a couple years ago. Can't hear me? Sorry. Okay. I did it a couple years ago when I purchased a home, and it was fabulous. I saved tons of money. I had my whole attic re-insulated. I had my furnace checked. Bless you. I had lighting upgrades. They checked. They did a blow test of the house. It was really, really worth it, and I barely paid anything. The audit was free. So we're partnering with PSE&G and Sustainable Jersey to get the word out about this program because it really is valuable. And you can go to our website. We have flyers over here that talk about the program. You can learn to see which program you qualify for. Like the gentleman had mentioned before, it's dependent on your income. And we are running a special promotion. So this is, real quick, this is what gets checked. Your windows, doors, insulation, your hot water heater, your furnace, your lights. It's really, really great. They even found, when they did my house, they found a really small gas leak that my home inspector missed, so it was invaluable. But moving on, we are offering a $100 check to anybody who resides in a overburdened community, which is pretty much the 4th Ward. If you complete a home energy audit and you qualify for the weatherization or the Comfort Partners program, and you can find out which one you qualify for either by going to the website or picking up one of our brochures, or you could talk to Marrakesh, who also works in the Office of Sustainability, and you can verify which program you qualify for. So if you finish a home energy audit and you contact the office, the first 50 residents that get the audit complete, we will send you a $100 check. And that's out of the grant that we received from Sustainable Jersey. So it's something that we could do to try to help everybody. And just so you know, all the utility companies in New Jersey are required to help their customers become more efficient. It's part of the 2018 Clean Energy Act in New Jersey that was passed. So this is something that everybody in New Jersey is eligible for, and because PSE&G is our provider, we're working with them. All right, so great program. Definitely take advantage of it. Again, I can speak about it personally. I had a great experience with it, so if you have questions about that, you can ask me personally too. All right, so I also wanted to talk about another program that we're doing. It is the Urban and Community Forestry Program. So our office received a grant via the Inflation Reduction Act through the USDA and the U.S. Forestry Service. And it's for the next 4.5 years. And our goal is to increase our tree canopy. As you know, trees, super important. They photosynthesize, they transpire, they cool our homes and our streets and keep our houses safe for the most part from the wind. Really, really important. And as you know, we are losing our trees. So this initiative is to not only increase our tree canopy, but to educate the people in the areas where we're going to be planting the trees about the importance of the trees, as well as educate our students, right? We're going to be working with the schools. We're partnering with Montclair State University. We are going to be getting green teams every year. They're going to be doing things like mapping all of the trees in these communities, in our overburdened communities. They're going to be doing surveys, testing carbon sequestration rates, our soil, right? All of these great initiatives. But again, one of the biggest parts of this grant is the community engagement and the education aspect of it. So one of the things I want everybody to do, if you can, we have a whiteboard over there, and just write down one word or thought you have about Montclair trees, right? I'm into data, qualitative, quantitative. So qualitative data, again, is awesome. If we have an idea of what people are looking for, maybe the types of trees they want, or their concerns about trees, is it going to lift up my sidewalk? Is it going to drop a lot of leaves? Right? We want to quell some of these concerns and assuage some of these concerns about increasing our tree canopy, right? Because we all know one of the ways to fight climate change and extreme heat is to increase our tree canopy. And again, whoops, sorry. Right, trees, fantastic, amazing, magic, they're magical. And then here are all the areas where we will be increasing the tree canopy, right? So again, over the next 4.5 years, be on the lookout if you want to be involved, if you want to help, reach out to the office. I have cards over here. Yeah, so over here, we're going to increase the tree canopy. And that's, yeah.
If you can just.
Oh, and I'm sorry, one more thing. So we have, for the home energy program, we have the flyers. And then, like the gentleman mentioned before, we do have the night lights. So if you want a night light, We have them in a basket over there. Please take some. They're really fantastic.
Thank you, Lisa. If you can just tell us what streets or what area in the Fourth Ward you think you may be starting with, and what type of assistance you would need from residents if they wish to volunteer.
So the first thing we did is we took a windshield survey of all the trees in our communities, in these overburden communities. And the first thing we're going to be doing is pruning and removing dead or dying trees. So that's number one. That's the first thing we're doing. And we plan on planting an additional 50 trees in our communities this fall as well. So that's the first phase, right? And then beginning of next year, or the end of this year, beginning of next year is when we're going to start the community engagement. So really what I'm looking for from residents is what they want. What do you want when it comes to your urban tree canopy? What kind of concerns do you have? How can we help you? So that's really what I'm looking for at this moment. And again, this is a 4.5-year grant. So expect this to develop and change and grow over the next 4.5 years.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We're going to hold questions for Lisa to the end. Next up, we're going to ask Ms. Norma Tassi to join us from Vision Zero. She can talk about bike lane safety, I think, and pedestrian safety. And after Norma, we can go to questions. While we're doing that, Tony, if you can just flip back to my presentation for 1 second. I just want to, for those that just came in not too long ago, I want to go back to the project updates just so people can, again, take a look at the addresses of some of the projects that will be happening in the Fourth Ward. There it is. Again, these are the addresses. These are some new projects coming down the pike for the Fourth Ward. Again, the Z behind the address means zoning board, which means that's where the application is currently. If you feel like you need to have a say or know what's going on, I encourage residents to attend a zoning board meeting. When you look at this list, it seems like a lot. It is a lot for our community. Again, visit our town website. Make sure you get the dates for zoning boards to be present if you want to have a say or have any questions. Again, 210 Bloomfield Avenue is the American Legion post. That's not going to affect any taxpayers. That project is coming through a community development grant, and it will be for veterans and seniors. So, if you're ready, Ms. Tassi, thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to turn the lights on.
Yeah, turn the lights on, sure.
Hello and good evening. I'm Norma Tassi. I am the Director of Administration, Code Enforcement, and Environmental Affairs for the Township. I began with the Township in March of 2024, but before that I had been nominated to the Vision Zero Task Force kind of at its beginning. So before I get started, tell me, by a show of hands, how many people are aware of the Vision Zero Task Force and the work that it does? All right, well, that's a good third, but let's increase that tonight. The Vision Zero Task Force is made up of over 20 people, both community activists and township employees. 2 of my team members, I believe, are here today, and that is Mr. Jason Gleason in the back and Miss Judy Mills. I'm not sure if she had an appointment beforehand. She's running late. Okay, so there's 2 team members we're due to join in with. Let me tell you now the mission of the Vision Zero Task Force, and that is that every person in Montclair has the right to travel safely each day without the risk of death or serious injuries on our roadways, no matter how they travel. 0 is the only acceptable number of deaths on our roadway. And that is what myself and the rest of the Vision Zero Task Force has been working toward. But this isn't, the Vision Zero Task Force was came together in May of 2023. But as a community, Montclair has worked tirelessly with a number of different advocates in a number of different ways, making streets more safely. So let me just tell you what some of those are. In 2005, Montclair very tiny print here. Montclair Bicycle and Pedestrian Local Assistance Grant through the New Jersey Department of Transportation came through. And working with the funding and the people that were available between 2005 and 2012, in 2012, Montclair was awarded bronze-level bicycle-friendly community awards through the League of American Bicyclists, and a silver medal walk-friendly community, and that was through the Pedestrian and Bicycle Information Center. In 2014, Lifelong Montclair did a study on behalf of seniors, putting together a guide to public transportation. In 2018, the Montclair Police Department partnered with Bike and Walk Montclair to facilitate a pop-up bike lane, demonstrating what a protected bike lane on the way to Edgemont School would look like. And hundreds of children and their families participated. And in May of 2023, like I said, after a lot of activism on the part of a lot of people in this room and a lot of people all over town, the town council put the Vision Zero task force together. One of the first things that we can do to make sure that the roadways are safe and secure for all users are making sure that the roads are in good repair. What I have, and I'm going to give Councilperson Toller all of the data that I'm reading from today, and if anybody would like it, they're certainly welcome to have all the information I have in front of me. In the 4th Ward, there is a considerable amount of road improvements due this year. In terms of Belgian block curbing, that's taking the from one complete form into blocks with the curbing. In the 4th Ward, that is going to happen on Nishwain Road from Virginia to Homewood Way, on Franklin Avenue from Nishwain Road to Harrison Avenue, on Harrison Avenue from Franklin Avenue to the West Orange Town Line. In terms of milling and paving in the 4th Ward, Nishwain Road will be paved. They take up the road first, they do some magic, and then they replace it. That is going to happen on Nishwain Road from Virginia to Homewood, on Franklin from Nishwain to Harrison, on Harrison Avenue from Franklin to West Orange Town Line, on Elmwood Avenue from Maple Ave to Elm Street, Cary Court, New Street, Enfield, Hilltop, Pleasant Way, and Ward Place. So that's a considerable amount of infrastructure maintenance that will help keep all road users safe. Another thing that the township does to keep all road users safe and secure is traffic enforcement. In the 4th Ward, from July of 2023 through July of 2024, there was 6,239 traffic stops. The top 3 reasons that people were ticketed were for registration, delaying traffic, overnight parking, and just parking violations. So those are the top 4, and they make up a little over 3,000 of the violations. As we decide, and that's a full township decision. It's not the decision of the Vision Zero Task Force. The Vision Zero Task Force works with the entirety of the town. There are traffic studies done in each ward, in all sorts of streets. I brought data from 2 that were done in 2023, and the reason that the data is from 2023 is that the state certifies police data, and we don't have anything more up to date than the 2023 numbers that I'm going to give you. In In October of 2023, at 422 Washington Avenue, they did a speed data analysis. That was an analysis of 24,384 cars over a 11-day period. This is an area where the speed limit is 25, and they found 53, in that 1 week period, there was 53 enforceable violations, with 24% of people traveling in the 85th percentile of speed. In May of 2023, at 371 Orange Road, which is, the cross street there is Willamere, from 5/1/2023 through 5/8/2023, they analyzed the travel of 49,301 vehicles, and they found 12,686 enforceable violations. So with that kind of data, that is how the township makes decisions on what kind of improvements to the roads, to, does it need more enforcement? Does it need more repair? Does it need less cars? Does it need a difference in speed limit? These kind of studies inform that. In terms of progress that we've made this quarter, we're broken up. The Vision Zero Task Force is broken up into a number of working groups. There's a communications working group. There is data collection and mapping, and a number of different working groups that come together to make the recommendations to the town. What we're doing now is working on, there's 4 in the 4th ward. There are 4 rapid reflecting phased beacons. And those are those yellow blinky things that you push the button and then it lets you walk. There's 4 of those in the 4th ward. 2 of them are on Grove Street and 2 of them are on Orange Road. What's under study now, a lot of you know that when people push the beacon and the beacon's flashing and the pedestrian's walking, there'll be one car stopped, but then another car will try to go around, creating quite a hazard for people on foot, especially older people or children. There is a treatment called ballards that you can put as you go diagonally toward the beacon so that it keeps that hind car from coming around. So financing and data are being studied on the 4 rapid reflecting beacons in the 4th ward, with special emphasis on the one at the High, Irving, and Orange. That is a high traffic, very hard to get through intersection, and as we welcome more residents and there's more traffic in town, there's just more and more and more traffic there, and it's hard to get across. So those are the types of road treatments that we're looking at short term. And then long term, we are looking, and I have pictures which we can pass around, and I will also make sure Councilperson Toller gets them. There are curb extensions is another traffic calming measure, and traffic calming means that the speed of travel is reduced by some visual cue tells you to slow down. Right? So these curb extensions do a little to make the roadway more narrow so that people don't drive as quickly. Chicanes and speed tables, when you come, these are your classic speed bumps. And those are another thing that slow cars down in terms of travel. Oh, thank you. The next is a center median, and that is proven pretty effective in a lot of communities. We have gateway treatments and traffic diverters. Traffic diverters are also called small circles. So they make you, not speed through an intersection or not use the intersection like a cross there, but do something curvy so then you're slowing down speed. As time goes on, we have a federal grant as well that will pay for the demonstration of some of these projects. And the hope then would be to make these permanent projects with the town. The goals as a task force are to be diligent about data-driven decision-making, to implement proactive as opposed to reactive policies, and work together with all constituents to eliminate traffic fatalities and severe injuries. We want to take a Vision Zero approach, which is systems focused rather than focusing on the car or the person or the bicyclist, seeing that as an ecosystem and working proactively with all road users. So the work continues. The participating in the Vision Zero task force is kind of a closed loop situation. We have in April, we were in front of the town council and we gave our first quarter's update, and I would look for that to be communicated fairly shortly about our next update, to which the whole community would be invited. And that's pretty much all I have to share, but I would ask Jason if I'm leaving anything out or if there's anything from the point of the view of the bid that you'd like to share. Thank you, that's a nice compliment.
Thank you, Ms. Cassie. Your pictures are floating, so if you
Oh,
want to...
and there's a couple more, so I will hand those out, and I will make sure that you have all of this.
Thank you so very much. Thank you again. So before we get to questions, I'm going to invite Mayor Baskerville up to see if she has a few words that she wants to express to the audience, or nothing. Carmel, would you like to share anything with the audience this afternoon? Come on up, and then we'll get to questions. While they're looking at pictures, you
Yeah,
can
I know
talk.
everybody knows the mayor. I'm Carmel Lockman. I'm a 4th Ward resident as well. Recently elected and hoping to make a difference in Montclair. We also have my colleague Susan Shin Anderson. She's also, hey Susan, she's also a at-large. We're both at-large candidates. So we represent, and people don't seem to get this, we represent the whole town. Whereas your ward person represents the 4th Ward, we look after the interest of the whole town, similar to what the mayor does. So while I live in the 4th Ward, I have particular interest in the 4th Ward, but my mandate is to look after everything going on in the whole town. And that's also true of Susan and the mayor. So that's me.
Thank you, Carmel. So before, yes, is that Mr. Scott? Yes.
Yes, I just have a question from the technology standpoint as it relates to traffic. Is the Norfolk Police Department prohibited from using cameras to detect speeders?
I don't think so, but I would have to verify and triple check that. Perhaps Norma or Jason, if they have an answer to that question, because I don't have the answer for that.
I mean, that would be a great technology.
Yeah, we desperately need it, and to learn about the blinking yellow lights, I would like to see one on Maple. That street is heavily traveled with fast speeds, and we have a school there and we have a daycare center there. So, we'll be talking with Vision. Okay, Mr. Fan says the state does not allow us to use a camera for speed traffic. Mr. Scott, I hope you heard me. I'm sorry?
New Jersey doesn't allow it.
Okay, so New Jersey does not allow traffic cameras. That's the state
Can I
law.
say
Sure.
questions? I just wanted to ask Norma, you had mentioned there's a whole lot of paving and Belgian block things going on. Are any of the traffic calming measures that Vision Zero is advocating for being included in that work that's being done, or was that kind of determined before Vision Zero was pretty active?
Both things are correct, Councilor Loughlin. The milling and paving and Belgian blocking is decided by the Department of Community Services on a yearly basis. The goal of Vision Zero is to adopt and include a checklist with every road improvement, so that when after there's repaving, there's also restriping. So there's different treatments that can be done to do traffic calming just in the striping treatment. So there's a checklist that's due to be adopted that will help, and there's all sorts of vendors to coordinate, which I'm sure you can imagine when it gets planned, there's always a back end. But the goal is for going forward as DCS develops their list for a year. Also, they have the treatments that the roads are going to receive planned as well.
Thank you. Any more Vision Zero questions? And then we can go to tree questions, then we can go to general questions. 1 second.
I'm sorry, I just thought of something that might be of interest to you. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'm very excited to be back in this room that I've hosted meetings for. And it's such an honor and a privilege to be working with Councilor Amina Toler. We were working together before this election, and we're going to certainly continue to do that. I just wanted to let you know that, because a lot of people are asking me, that the council is in fact right now interviewing search firms to possibly interview candidates to become a manager of a township. And we have invited our interim manager, Michael Lapola, certainly to put in and apply for that position. But rather than everybody send individual emails and question it, I just wanted to share that we are in that process. We haven't started interviewing candidates or possible candidates, but we have started interviewing firms at this point in time. We're also going to take people, like if you know people that are interested in that, we're also going to take people that just send in their information to the township. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I'm really excited about the things that we're going to be able to do moving forward together, and that's it for now. Thank you.
You have a question?
So, Ms. Cassie, thank you so much for your presentation. I have a few questions about Vision Zero, but they might be answered by the folks as well. So, the gentleman who brought up the question about traffic cameras, I don't know if you were opposed or for that. For it, okay, so I'm opposed to that. And I think they are already doing it without telling us, because about a year ago, I saw much bigger traffic cameras go up on the top of completely new traffic stoplights, only on county roads. They're identical. I've seen them in other states as well. And my question is, what data is being collected using those cameras? And why are they identical, and why are they only on county roads? And why are they also in New York State and in Pennsylvania and in Florida, et cetera? It seems it's very strange, and I'd like to know what's behind that. I've also seen freestanding license plate readers in Essex Fells, and I'm trying to remember if I saw one in Montclair or not. I can't remember. But those basically grab all the data, off of your license plate illegally and store it. The question is, what's being done with that data? So I think, so the part one of my question actually, which I'm just sort of responding to what you said, and I think it would be great to have a conversation, and see, where your concerns come from. But I would say I'm a reform speeder, okay? And the thing that I have 2 young kids. I grew up biking everywhere in upstate New York. I don't feel like I can bike here safely, and I don't feel like my kids can. And it's such a shame, and I so appreciate what you're doing with Vision Zero. My concern, and definitely I experienced those people, like I learned to stop and wait at the stoplight, and people go right around me, right? My concern is possibly the weaponization, the takeover of a Vision Zero plan, which I completely support, by a federal grant that may have strings attached. So one of my questions is, what strings come with the federal money? And my other question is, you mentioned these like amazing statistics about like 3,000, it was even bigger, like traffic violations, et cetera. My question is, who's doing those studies, and how is the data being collected? Because that's a massive amount of data. And if you're telling us, well, not you, but if we are being told by the state government that New Jersey is not allowed to collect information from traffic cameras, how are they collecting that information?
If I hear you correctly, your concerns really are around data privacy, which I don't have expertise to speak to. What I can tell you is that the statistics that I gave you about the traffic studies that were done, traffic studies are occasioned either by repeated calls to the traffic bureau of the police department on the part of separate residents, or the police themselves observe something that needs study. The study is done by, there's a type of it's not a camera, it's a counter that goes, it's on the road itself. The license plates are not collected. It's the rate of speed and the number of people. So I understand your concern about data privacy. I don't have anything to say with regard to that, but in terms of how the study is done, it's done with a speed device and a motion device.
Any other questions?
I don't think I need that. I just wanted to ask, from what I understand, the town speed limit has been reduced as well as the county one that was supposed to be reduced, possibly both of them to 25 miles an hour. But I wanted to ask about that and confirm if I'm correct and if it's being enforced for safety.
So speed enforcement is a police matter that I can't really speak to intelligently, but there's a lot of feeling that the problem goes away when there's more enforcement, and that's not necessarily true. There is, I would guarantee you that the enforcement numbers, if I had them, you would be pleased with them, right? So this problem, driver behavior is not solely influenced just by like, oh, I'm going to get a ticket if I do that. Because a lot of people are like, I'll chance it and maybe I won't get a ticket. So in terms of the county roads and the township roads, there are different speed standards in different parts of the town, and one of the things that Vision Zero is working on now, and it's just now it's how will it be enforced, is the speed limits around school zones going to 20 miles an hour.
One second. This young lady has a question.
Very grateful that this project, I'm very grateful that this project is initiated because this street here is prime time for negligent behavior in terms of driving and speeding. Many years ago, even on Maple, there was a young child dragged up the street coming from Neighborhood Center. And ever since then, subsequent to that, I met I believe she's a lieutenant now, Inezzo.
Yes.
It was a sergeant at the time of traffic, and she used to place these boards placed, like, for me, when I called, I don't know what they're called, the radar boards, but I felt like when with the system, can this still be implemented? I feel like when people are driving and they see those numbers flash up, they will slow down. I'm a resident next door to Alistair. We have kids, we have seniors, and we also have disabled people that catch Ubers. And right here, these people, it's like lawless driving, you know, and then we have the people rushing from the train coming out too, so, I wanted to know if those boards, I'm not sure, the name of my call them radar boards could still be implemented, because I feel when people are driving and they see the numbers. And another thing I've noticed, and this is, you know, no disrespect to our beautiful people from New York, but I have noticed since the increase of my New York buses, it's like we're driving in Manhattan. And I've seen several negligent incidents by the small children's line and Helen Garden. I know there's a club over there, but all around here. I saw a man just speed down Blue Lab, the area by CBS and Valley. Apparently there's a sign up there too. That's very concerning. I literally saw this car speed down, hit another man about 3 weeks ago. So I wonder, could that still be implemented with this rate plan that you have? Again, I feel when people see those numbers, it makes them slow down.
Thank you for your question.
Yes.
Ms. Tassie, probably, I don't know if you want to answer that question or try to answer it.
Let me just give a blanket answer to all the enforcement concerns that people have, because they're very valid, and the idea that what is happening on the roads keeps people in their homes is disturbing to everyone. So something definitely has to be done. But if you have a corner or a street or an area that you think is in need of study, that's a police matter. And the police have a traffic bureau. I should have brought the number. I don't know it off the top of my head, but the police department does have a traffic bureau, and that's where these concerns are emanate out of. The Vision Zero Task Force is a handshake with all of the departments in the township, but we're not able to initiate anything on our own. So call if anybody has a concern about a location where they live, a street where they travel, somewhere where their kids play. The traffic bureau will be able to tell you if a study is possible, if a study is warranted, and if a study is warranted, it will be done.
Not their police officer, their general line is transfer you to that traffic bureau, because that's how I used to do it.
Go ahead. Jason, I see you.
I just wanted to respond to Maddie's question, because she asked a very good question. It's about the speed limit in Montclair. Just so everybody's very clear, before 2020, there was a resolution that was passed, and that was for all township streets in Montclair to be 25 miles per hour. That was before 2020. Most reasonably was when we had the county roads that were also changed to 25 miles an hour. So other than, as Norma said, the school zones, and when you're on a curb and those things, nobody in Montclair should be going more than 25 miles per hour anywhere. Some of the street signage has not been changed yet if you go down Grove Street and other streets. But just so we're all clear, if you're going more than 25 miles an hour anywhere in Montclair, you're violating the laws that are in place currently.
I have a question about
Thank
First
you.
Night.
One second. Not first night. Jason, you want to?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything with thank you, Norma, but I did want to reiterate something that Norma said, which I think is really important, and it's kind of like sort of the ethos of Vision Zero, is that, enforcement is necessary and it's a key component of the Vision Zero strategy, but that the Vision Zero strategy really is 360, and it's about creating redundancy. So enforcement is awesome, right? And I think, I agree with Norma, you would be pleased if you did see the enforcement numbers out there. The cops are doing their jobs and they're out there and they're getting the speed violators. But it's also about reducing the speed limit, so you see the numbers about there, and it's about communicating that strategy and educating people about, if you're moving too fast in a much heavier vehicle than we're used to, you have a higher chance of killing somebody out on the street. And no offense, but guilt tripping everybody into reducing their speeds. and working with the youth of the population to say, hey mom, hey dad, you're driving too fast, right? And that's two parts, and those are very important parts. But it's also about the community prioritizing and saying, hey, you know, when we just repave a road and we put Belgian block down, is Belgian block important? It's very, very expensive. Or is pressed concrete okay if we're able to do other more equitable road design that says, you know, this road here is for all folks who are traveling around this road. It's for cars, it's for people on bikes, and not just those two, but it's also for people who are walking. And not just people who are walking, but all people who are walking. So seniors and who are walking a little slower, people with disabilities, also kids who are walking a lot faster maybe and just running out in the traffic. And it's making an equitable road design for all people who are traveling around the streets and making it safer. So when you create all of those redundancies and you're educating and you're communicating out and you're reducing the speed limits and you're enforcing and you've created an equitable road design where all of the community is working together to make it safer, that's how you reduce all the deaths. So that's the work of Vision Zero in a nutshell. So.
Thank you, Jason. And this is again why I urge everyone, please come to your council meetings. If you have something that you need to say, a question that you need answered, something that you think needs to be going on in your neighborhood, you have to come to our council meetings to speak during public comment. Judy?
Yes. I just wanted to let her know that you're concerned. I had mentioned your concerns during our meeting because I live on 10th Front Street. And also, just to everybody here, we do have an app, Reported app. I encourage everybody to download that app to report any of these concerns on the Reported app. But those concerns has been raised. And I brought up speed bumps. And even Jason, just to correct me if I'm, mentioning what you said, I brought up speed bumps, and he also talked about graffiti, causing effective ways to also implement the speed limit for people to be careful.
Excuse me, what is that website link that you mentioned?
Reported app, yes.
Reported?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I wanted to add, trees are naturally traffic calming, so people who are driving down streets with a lot of trees tend to drive slower.
This is true. Thank you, Judith. And Judith is part of Vision Zero, so. Is there another question? Sure.
My question, I'm going to change the subject. What is this council going to do about the harassment of women in the workplace here in Montclair?
Councilmember Garcia, Alderman President, hopefully.
Thank you for that question. Unfortunately, myself or any of the council members, we can't speak on that because it's a legal matter. But we are aware of some issues going on in Town Hall. We are looking for creative ways to ease some of the tensions there. And at this point, we can't really speak on those matters.
I understand what you're saying. However, this has been going on for a long time. My wife was deputy clerk, and she experienced harassment in the workplace then. That was in the early 2000s in the finance department, not in the clerk's office necessarily, but it is a rampant thing, and it needs to be changed.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. Is there another question? No, I'm gonna get to you. I know you want to talk about first, like, that's not on the agenda.
That's not what I'm talking about.
I just have a question about the trees, because Lisa mentioned that Fourth Ward is overburdened, and that, I guess, to start with, the trees will be planted in the Fourth Ward, and then one thing we know is, you have that long list of development projects in Fourth Ward, and also we know that there's been a lot of subdivisions in the Fourth Ward, over the past 20, 25 years. So, hopefully with this tree rejuvenation project, they'll work together, consider, the overdevelopment, the loss of open space, the removal of trees during that process, because it just seems like if we get this grant for $1 million and we plant trees on the strip between the street and the sidewalk, if we don't consider the development issues, it seems like we're not making any progress.
So as an 8-year member of the planning board, I can assure you that when we get development projects, we look at the landscaping and trees. It's not something that gets ignored. We're very, very, very interested in making sure that landscaping and trees are addressed to the max as much as we can. So
Thank you. Lisa, did you want to add anything to that?
I just wanted to add that the grant is not just for planting trees, we're also giving a several awards in Montclair State to work with students. A big portion of the grant application was workforce development and youth employment. So we just don't have $1 million to plant trees. There's pruning, there's removal, there's a lot of other things that go along with it. And as far as the overburden communities, this is as designated by the NGDP. And I do have a map. I showed it earlier on the PowerPoint as well, but I have a map over here. So it's not just the 4th ward, part of the 3rd, a little bit of the 2nd, and a tiny bit of the 1st, right where Montclair State is. So all of those areas, again, if you want to take a photo of the map of and you can find it online on NJDP. If you look at their environmental justice page, you can find it there too. So we plan on doing plantings in all of these areas, but the 4th ward is the majority of the overburden community. But right now the grant is just for public plantings. Maybe later on I can try to see if we can get some private done as well, but right now it's only public. So we're looking at our gardens and our parks, right? So a lot of our parks, Campbell Park, a lot of our parks need more trees. So in the project 399 Orange Road, we're going to be planting trees with that grant there as well.
I have a question.
I would just like to make one point about the trees. What you see above ground is exactly what's underground. It's equal. So the trees, the big trees, that's a root system as well. And the root, it's really important that they get the water off, and prevent flooding.
Thank you.
I have a question. Unless I'm mistaken, I think at the council meeting last week, this week, there was talk about the reinstating the shade tree commission. So how does that mesh with what you're talking about?
That's one of the goals of the project. I can do it, it's not my department to create or appoint a shade tree commission, but that is one of the goals of the project. So that's
One of your goals, to create a municipal.
Well, I can't create it, but it's to support it.
Okay, so that's one of the council goals.
Council,
Okay.
yes, but it's mine as well.
Okay, just curious, because we had one, like.
Yeah, bring it back.
Just to answer part of your question, we are reviewing and trying to put that, to bring that back. There's a question back here that I'll come over.
Hi, when you said that you were looking at 50 more trees, did you mean after removing whatever trees need to be removed and assess that you'll be increasing the amount of the total trees by an additional 50 in the future, or that you will replace 50 trees?
Both. So 50 trees for this planting of. So the minimum is 50 trees additional for planting. So we do 2 plantings per year in the fall and the spring. So a minimum of 100 trees additionally per year. So that's the goal. So the ones we remove, we're going to obviously replace, and then plus additional. So if you have an area where you want a tree, please let us know. Now's the time.
Thank you. You can just pass this microphone down to Gina, and Gina, you can pass it to Stacy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are we able to ask questions inside?
Right, yes, there's a question.
Okay, so I was just curious about the last time there was a traffic study done by Mission School, High Street Theater. I mentioned, I chatted with Dave Cummings before he left office about it because when there are school events, and my kids went to Nishwayne. When I was driving to and from, I didn't notice as much because my kids go there. But now that my kids are gone from Nishwayne, I notice it a lot more. So when there are school events,
like graduation, moving up ceremony, production. On High Street, they park on both sides of the street, and it creates a one-way street. And I'm just wondering if there's been a study done, if there's gonna be any changes to parking or to remedy that problem that happens in the morning and later on in the day when there are productions.
I'll answer that. So, on a different topic, so I just want to know if there's any update on the supermarket coming back.
In regards to the issue of the COS, when I was a member of the Factory Parking Advisory Committee several years ago, there was a study. And as you said, there was a recommendation that they were going to have no parking in certain sections, I know of High Street. But that was never implemented, but there was a study done. Recently, this school year, in Cedar Avenue, the school has been putting cones out because they have put signs on one side of Cedar Avenue that says no parking due to Ford, and they have constantly parked. There has been no enforcement of traffic department over the years, and I've called 1,000 times. So maybe with the new council representative, we can get some action.
Yeah, sure. And also, besides the parking, just the enforcement of that little lane. People do not know what to do at a forward stop. It's terrible.
But thank you for the question. I too emailed Councilor Cummings, who was the fourth board rep, requesting a traffic study, not for Mitchell, but for my area. I'm on Woodland and Maple, and 4 years later now I'm here. So we desperately need a traffic study. I really explained to me there's a cost involved in the town to pay for that, and there's a list of other traffic studies before mine, but that was 4 years ago, so I don't know if it's just.
So the last one was done 4 years ago.
It hadn't been done yet, is what I'm saying.
And that's the only action that can take place for change to happen.
They need a traffic study first, yes, yes. And to answer your question about Lackawanna, if we're getting a grocery store or supermarket, currently there are 2 or 3 lawsuits against the plan, so we really can't talk about it at this time. But the redevelopment plan itself is on the township website. You can see all the drawings, what's expected. The developer has stated that the last we heard would be a grocery store, not necessarily a supermarket, because those are 2 different things. A place where you can get fresh fruit, vegetables, but no fresh meat. There's some things with the plan that need to be talked about, looked over, discussed, etc. There's even discussion, or was some discussion about moving the location of where the grocery store is in the plan versus where some recommendations were made to move someplace else. But at this point, I really don't have a firm answer for you because of the several lawsuits against the project. So I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer. Is there another question?
Hi, I'm just wondering with concern what they're going to do about all these rats running around here in Montclair, and especially in the fourth ward.
Foxes. We're gonna get some foxes.
No.
Yeah, it's definitely for construction. We can talk about this as a council. Restaurants contribute to the rat population. Again, from Glenville Park, I'm always in communication with Brendan Gill. He's put some additional traps out. He's made sure that the grounds are kept, and that's just in that area. So what's it going to do for the entire fourth ward is another story. That's something we as a council will have to sit down and discuss.
You have to make the restaurants more.
They have to be more accountable for garbage. You know, we've heard a lot of complaints from residents that live in the third ward about the garbage. So Lackawanna doesn't have much garbage here, but there is a brook. So the rats like to bathe in the water. We got to figure something out. Because I come home and they're right out in front of my house. So I have to clean it up.
So not so much a question, but maybe a comment, since there's all this talk about trees. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's gotten phone calls from solar companies wanting to put the solar panels on our roofs. And obviously that entails some cutting of the trees. So maybe in the future, at an upcoming meeting, there's some kind of discussion around that, like the trees in the context of solar panels being offered, please, because it's lots of calls.
Was there a question back here, John, white t-shirt?
I just wanted to, when we were talking about traffic study, I knew that several years, 2017, they did a study on Washington Ave. There was huge concern of Franklin, Willowdale, Washington Ave traffic, it's ridiculous, especially that we got schools, Linfield, Nick Wayne, and high school has drop-offs, pick-up on Willowdale or Washington. And my concern as I moved to 2017 is the speeding is ridiculous. So I know they did a test. So then there's impacts that four-way stop signs cannot be put in. Speed humps was not allowed. My concern, or my question is, about half a mile down the road of Glenridge, they have speed humps. Another half a mile down that, same with Washington Ave, Bloomfield, they have some. So maybe we can look more into that, because I know that's what BJ talks about that for the past 7, 8 years. There's more kids, there are more kids on the intersection, so I have a child myself, so just to piggyback on that.
This is not a question. I would just like to make everybody aware about the How House. You probably already know. And I'm talking, if you can afford $5 a month to contribute to the How House, it would be greatly appreciated. $5 a month is $60 a year as a sustainer of the How House. It's very, very important.
And thank you for that commercial break. But back to your concerns, you know. Tony, can you get to that last slide for me? Okay. I just wanted to make sure that everyone has our emails to contact us. I'm for getting another traffic study. The people that fly down Woodland, come on to Lincoln, come on to Maple, Glenville School, traffic is backed up for days. Okay, so you can rest assured that I'm on it. And the reason I'm asking Tony to put the last slide up is because I want everyone to have our email addresses. So you can hold us accountable, send us an email. Make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do for you. The residents are our customers. You have questions?
Yeah, I'm more than. This one work?
It's just for the camera.
I'll use this one.
Good evening, good evening. I'm more or less here to educate at this moment, right? I'm sure a lot of you are looking like, what is this young man finna say? And who is this young man coming up in here with his shorts and this stuff going on? I'm not sure about you guys, but I've invested 30 years here. I'm not sure what interests each and every one of you for sitting in your seat, whether you are new homeowners, whether you been here. I don't know what the case is, but let me show you or explain to you how every level of this conversation just affected me. We spoke about trees, did we not? Earlier today, you guys don't know. Where do you live? I'm sorry? You mentioned it? Yeah. Woodland. You guys don't know. I'm your local trash man, so I do Woodland Street. But today, when we're dealing with trees and PSE&G and wires, my driver couldn't get past the little thing because the wire was so low and there was trees involved. So we got PO over there grabbing the wire. I'm up the street talking to Miss Blake, like, hey, Miss Blake, I'm involved in the community. Like I said, 30 years here. You know Miss Blake? Talking to Miss Blake, right on New Street, by 10 New Street, if you go right now, you tell that PSE&G man, there's a short wire that's hanging down and big trucks can't pass by. Now, if something could happen and I could be working and all this stuff come falling down on me. We talk about rats, I do the trash, right? I see them all the time. You know what I'm saying? We talk about safe streets. I'm one of the guys that's outside probably when y'all think it's too late. And we don't want trouble. We don't hang out to promote trouble. I want y'all to know that, all right? So let's educate and let's get a few things clear here. All I'm hearing is issues that is relevant, right? But what are we creating? We seem to be creating these issues for ourselves. Montclair, by geographics and design, is not meant to house this many people, y'all. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. So we want to talk about speeding. I'm sure everybody in here, when they jump in their vehicle, and let me tell you something real quick, speaking about vehicles, I have to go and I don't want to digress that much. But look, everybody here going to do a little bit over 25, let's say that. But when we bring it back, I was just thinking about that grocery store. I remember the Pathmark. God rest my grandmother. I used to go there with her all the time. Loved it, right? But every other element, even across by over there where the Subway used to be, got a little CVS there. They got a little something. Folks up top got theirs. Don't you know? Hear me out. Thank God I work for the Township of Montclair. You know, they pay me decent. I drive a nice car, but I got to drive through Bloomfield. I got to drive through Bloomfield in this nice car. Now, it's a black Benz and it's nice. They watch me all the way till I get to where I'm going. They kind of like, they perimeter me. If I had something right here home, I would never have to go through there. Y'all understand? And why is it so hard to figure out some development strategies for this place? If we've done it once, we could do it again. It seems to be something else on the table, but hopefully I've educated y'all a little bit. And I hope that's all. I've been doing this since I attended Glenfield, and people like Javon Glass, and I grew up on Mission Street, so when it was things going on, none of my homies, and they were years above me, went to come do this. But I knew I was a player on both sides, so I had to know what was going on. So never get it confused. Martin said, what? Judge a man not by his color, because what? That's
Okay, the report to Montclair Act that Judy mentioned is report, the number 2, MTC APP, that's the Traffic Meeting Issue Act. Report, the number 2, MTC is the act. Do we have any other questions tonight? Yes, this is important. Okay, one second, can't get it up.
Yes. I want to thank you and Dr. Mayor Bassenberg for addressing my issue. They have addressed it along with Montclair Police, and I was told to let the community know. Right here on this block, and including in the train station, my dad used to use the word undesirables. There have been men out here plastered drunk. It's been going on for months. The women at the Alistair where I live have complained. They are now hiding in the train. They even took some bulk garbage. There was a child's chair, and they sit over there. The women coming from New York don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. They're working both sides now. And the Montclair Police have advised when you see them to call. They said something to my 18-year-old daughter who just graduated 2024 MHS and told her, "You look very nice today." This Jeep. And one came up to me with my dog, and wanted to pet the dog, and one approached and tried to hug me. And you are to report this. I don't know also if you noticed the red graffiti, and Montclair Police did notify me because they came to the field yesterday on behalf of the mayor that bridge has been vandalized leading to the 7-Eleven, and it's red circles. I took a picture of it, and it's on both sides. One side says Warhead, the other one's the letter A with red circles. I don't know if it's gang, I don't know what it is, but just beware. And I've also observed 2 young gentlemen at night in the red hats. They are, and I'm not racist, I'm just describing, they're South American descent, and so are the other gentlemen. And I saw one just sitting on the corner loitering, and the other one speaking to him. This group man walks with, apparently he's married and has a woman with a baby, but it's very concerning, especially having children. And, you know, but thank you for addressing it, and Dr. Maxwell, now it's for the community to keep following for us. Okay, there is a major problem here at the Bay Street area. There are homeless people, they have mattresses and everything else. And as you may notice, the place where you used to be able to sit, waiting for a train, particularly during the winter months, they have closed that as well, and the windows are broken. And they are, you know, again, I don't want to appear biased, but we have a major homeless population. And if you look at Bloomfield, Bloomfield does not have that problem. And if you look at Glenridge, they do not have that problem at the train station. But here at the base, nor do they have a problem at lunch hour. But the problem is here in Bay Street, and something has to be done concerning this population. Now, the population is also wherein the Salvation Army has allowed a large number of people in the evening to sleep and encamp around. And here at Bay Street, if you go up in the area there, people are defecating and urinating in that area, and it is not safe, and something needs to be done. Again, Bloomfield does not have this problem, but Montclair does, and something needs to be done.
You're also in Lamb One, early in the morning.
Yes, I'm in the parking lot as well. So, the council, we are aware of the homeless population issues that are happening here in town, and we will talk with police chiefs and the other nonprofits to see what we can do to ease some of this burden for the residents, as well as help homeless population. Yes.
Sorry, I didn't even hear the whole conversation because I stepped out to ask a question about the trees. But I do a lot of work. I work for a local community health center, and my team members are on the ground engaging with people experiencing homelessness. In Montclair, we have strong relationships with the Salvation Army, with Tony's, and just from a residential perspective, if there's anything you really want to do, contact me, I can share my information, and come out, and annually there's a PIT count, P-I-T. It stands for the point in time count. It happens in January, it happens across the country, and it counts literally the people sleeping on the street. So if you want resources to improve what services can be offered to them, then we need an accurate count, right? So I can engage you with that, and then we can get resources.
It seems that Montclair is a magnet, and more are coming in because it is a magnet. That is what I am saying. Whereas in Bloomfield, it is not a magnet because of its administration is making sure that they do not have this problem. And like you said, it is very dangerous for women getting off the trains in the evening, having that population that is there lined up along the walkway, urinating, defecating, and everything else. I understand, my heart goes out to homeless people, but why is Montclair a magnet? That is what I'm saying, a magnet.
At one time, you got arrested in this town for an open can of liquor. They're out here in broad daylight, I'll tell you, through the midnight, and they're locked down in a corner, and you can drive down, and they're shot like robbers, and they're openly out here.
I just wanted to thank you for having me. I want to thank you and thank the mayor.
No, I was piggybacking off of her, I apologize, but I do have a question for the future development. Is there an abatement plan that can be placed inside of the contract? Because it just seems that they dig, and whatever comes out the ground, everyone who lives around has to deal with it. For example, the house on New Street here, it was just done over a couple of years ago now, the house is gone. There's a big gaping hole in the earth, so whatever was living in there is now spread out. So whoever's developing this land, they should have an abatement plan in place. Especially if you're gonna have, we're not gonna include like a rendezvous, say, Wheeler Street and Woodland, or anything else that happens. Is there an abatement plan that can be in place for future development? It doesn't, that it's not on the back of the township of Montclair that have to provide.
Correct. So again, for the next meeting, September 17th, I plan to have our planning director here to answer some of those questions. She is the person that deals the most with people that have the keys and want to buy the property here or develop it here. That's something that we can ask of her to ensure that that's included in whatever the application process is for a developer, anyone that wishes to come and develop or build here. It says September 17th. Did you start with the question?
No.
You sure? Is you good?
And then an abatement process should also apply with PSE&G, because when they're doing major infrastructure changes in the township, it absolutely creates major problems with roads throughout the township. So, and we need to have a really strong conversation with PSE&G. It won't be diplomatic, but strong conversation, because they had created a fair amount of problems with a lot of the digging that they do all along on a daily basis throughout the township.
Well, that's fair. Let's set it up. Set it up, and if anybody is interested, just email me. Our email addresses are there. We're not trying to be a typical politician like email me. I mean, email me, I'll get back to you.
I don't think I'll ever agree with this, but listen, check this out. Right? I told you I work in the township a lot. Yes. So when we talk about streets and potholes and that stuff, I talk to the street department guy, like, yo, remember, you guys can fix that, bro. And I deal with it. It's like, yo, I don't know where I'm at, but you guys can fix that. And they've done it, like, right? But look, I got an issue with this. I'm a garbage man, let's make that clear. We don't want so much, it's just not cool, right? When I'm out doing y'all streets, if I see like a piece of one, and it's not the trash that folks to pick on, I just do it because it's the right thing to do. Now, my point is, go to South Bend right now. If you go to Watchung right now, head up the avenue right now, as soon as you get to that mark, you can find garbage cans that do this. And the little nice ones. Now let me tell you, I remember when they first came in and they was upstairs talking about it. You don't see not near one of those. And let me tell you, on Saturdays we get overtime for going out getting the baskets, the little receptacles. All receptacles down the way. This is what we call it for. But I don't know what viewpoint y'all got in the full forward and all that, right? It's down the way. We get receptacles. We don't get the nice. Right. Where goes that down the way? You show me one. And I think I'm $5. Why we can't get some of those?
Come on, along this way, but they have it South Bend. I'm still one that grew up in the second.
They thought it was too pretty.
I
They
get
were
it.
destroying.
I get it. I grew up in the second ward. I now live in the fourth ward. I see the differences. I see the differences. So, I mean,
Even so much the time you package your trash, you know, that could even keep them away from, because if they can't get inside.
They said they can't, but I keep them within.
all right, so in the interest of time,
You mean up the avenue?
so again, thank you all for being here this evening. Don't forget, if you want to write a word about a tree, so Lisa can compile her data. The type of trees you would like to see in the fourth ward, don't forget to stop by and pick up the information there. Our email addresses are here. Everything that was discussed this evening, I'm going to go home tomorrow and review it and get back to those residents that